So Ollie said I should make videos of equipment and shit, so here's a video of my system here from the control box. So this is a desk I'm not using, everything's run off this Mac here, but I haven't programmed it yet. We've got a sound card at the bottom, which is this unit here, and we've got a number of different outputs from these. These are the main outs, which are running over here to the patch buoy. And I'm running those from the two main outs here in stereo to the mixer microphone inputs in order to get an XLR connection, which I can run into the back of the crossover here, which will split the signal two ways, but in stereo, so we'll have four outputs from this. And then these connections here, which I've not got the right cables to connect that to the sound card yet, but I will have, will run back over here to this, which is already patched. So I've got the four mixer sub outputs running into the amplifier input, and then these amplifiers here will receive the signal, which will send out, again in stereo, four ways. So we've got the two subs which are patched, they're downstairs underneath the seating. These two here aren't yet there because they're the rig speakers, which are sitting over there waiting to be put up, and they will run into there, which will be the sockets for the rig speakers. Other auxiliary systems we have running here. The whole point of the sound card is it splits things and sends out multiple signals. So as well as this, we have the two QTXs, which are wired through a very long cable downstairs at the back there, underneath the Seco. These two here are wired through the multi-core, which runs over here to the patch bay, and then downstairs through these two, which are patched, into the two QTXs, which are either side of the curtains. Tomorrow I'm going to put in some things into these two on the end, which will be two more QTXs to sit at the back of the seating and fill that out a little bit. I'm going to run the cables up over there, through the window and down here to the back of there, and then I'll get some gender benders and stick them in the back of the unit. Apart from that, I've just got to set my QLab up. I've got one screen here, I'm going to bring another one in there, flight case full of stuff. That'll be cool. Here's the sound designer.